Hey guys, so today I'm excited to be here on the show, Ask Vishwas series, which we started a couple of months back, and the response has been pretty cool. And a lot of people are asking me questions on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Quora. So it's been pretty good ride, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, that's the best part about it. People have been asking me questions about careers, startups, entrepreneurship. Many of them are personal, and it's very endearing to hear so many problems that people are having, and I'm able to contribute. And the best part is I'm able to learn so much from you guys. So this has been a phenomenal journey in the last couple of months. So I feel that we could take this this format to the next level by having taking some questions in the show. So today what I'm going to do is take a look at a bunch of questions that you guys have sent me and try to answer as much as possible. So let's see what I've got today. I've got a whole list of questions here. I'm going to try it and take as much as possible in the next like 5 or 6 minutes and see how much we can chew. So first question is from a senior project manager. And the question goes like this. I'm a senior project manager with 12 years of experience, and I see a lot of youngsters who have recently joined and they're taking lead on the projects. All right. And the management also seems to prefer them over senior folks. How do I deal with it? Okay. So if you really look at it, a lot of questions have been asked on this particular thing. And I wouldn't even deny, I mean, this is the story right now. So a lot of people have been facing this, and there is no shortcut here. I mean, I have to be really honest that, I've been interviewing a lot of people who have 8 years, 10 years experience right now, and they come to me, and what I see is that these guys have really lost touch with the reality. What really happens is that as your experience increases, you have to keep abreast with the latest technologies out there, learn these skills. Otherwise, you risk being outdated. That's been the problem from a long time right now. So that's why you see that this whole thing of unlearning, relearning, upgrading yourself is so much critical at this point in time. So when you're telling me that you are seeing people who are coming in just now, fresh out of college, and these guys are like super smart, try to get into these projects, and they're becoming so much more relevant, it's much natural. So the only way you can deal with it is you have to pick up the skills. You have to go out there, go out of your comfort zone, and then try to learn new technologies, new trends. The other thing that you need to understand here is when you have experience, and then if you can add that kind of a layer of new technologies, new trends, that is a killer combo. Experience plus skill. That is a killer combo. I mean, that is what the youngsters cannot match, because you have that years and years of experience, how to deal with tough situations, how to deal with the customers. That comes only with experience. So experience plus latest skills, you are going to be the number one choice for anybody out there, and that's how you can also justify your cost. So for example, you're making 20 lakhs, you need to figure out how much money the company is making out of you. You shouldn't become a burden. So only time you can really become valuable for the company is you can become you can create that billable hours for the company, or you become so much more relevant, right? And the final takeaway, what I want to give here is, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people, when they start growing in the career, what they say, they start telling people that this is a job which I cannot do. This is a job that freshers and some people with lesser experience they have to do. So that is terrible. So what I believe is that you have to quit your laziness. You have to say that, man, I want to get my hands dirty. I want to get down there and then start dealing with stuff myself. Who says that after 10 years of experience you cannot do coding? Who says that after 10 years of experience you cannot take sales calls? That's bullshit, man. You got to get in there and start doing things hands-on. That's how you become relevant to the industry. That's how you become so much more valuable, and the management or any company out there will never prefer anybody else. All right. So that's the way to go about it. So I hope this brings this clarifies the question. Okay, so let me see what is the second question here. I'm trying to shift through the questions and see what's going on. Okay. All right, so I think here is a good one. So I've got a very interesting question here right now. I'm so frustrated with my current job and manager that I want to resign right away. Okay, and is it a bad idea for me to quit before having another job offer at hand? Okay, so this is a very, very frequent problem. I keep getting these questions all the time. And it's really funny, how many people want to quit the jobs because of their managers. Okay, this is like the most common thing that everybody wants to resign because of the managers. It's but natural, I don't deny that this is a problem out there. Totally get it. But to be honest with you, what I believe is that you should never quit before you have a job in hand, because no matter what said and done, what is important is that you need to always look at de-risking your plan. So what happens is that you get out there, you resign, and then you resign because of your manager. You have a particular problem right now. You feel that, okay, I cannot deal with it, I have to quit right now. You become impulsive, and then you go out there in the market after resigning, and then suppose there is a chance that your notice period is 1 month, 2 months, and then you start getting under this pressure that I have just 1 month, 2 months to get a great job. So you go out in the market, and then what happens is you maybe you don't have the right kind of jobs out there, and then you are under pressure, and then you take up the first job that is available in the market. And when you start negotiating with your next employer and you don't have any other options in your hand, then what's going to happen is you just have to take the whatever they're giving you. Your negotiation power comes down. So the other pitfall to this is that when you make a shift in your career, you should always take your career to the next level. If you become impulsive and then resign before you have something concrete in your hand, what could end up happening is you might take a job that takes your career on a downward spiral. This is like terrible. So I've seen it happen to so many people. So do not make this mistake. The first thing that you need to do is right now you're having problem with the manager. I believe that go and have a dialogue with that guy. So you go and tell the manager that, hey, listen, these are the things are going great, it's fine, but these are the problems I'm having right now. So let's talk about it. Let's see how things can be made better, and try to deal with him. Deal with him, and then try to figure out whether you can change the team. Talk about your problems. Try to see what you can do there. Don't simply quit, because quitting should be the last option. And I believe that a lot of people make this terrible mistake. They feel that they cannot have a dialogue with the management. They cannot have a dialogue with their peers. That's terrible. That's the number one pitfall that people fall into. So please don't do that. Please go and strike a conversation. Have a conversation. People are much more receptive when you go and tell them that see, this is a work that I'm not able to enjoy. What can I do more? This is what I want to do in my career. Can I learn this? And then show proactiveness. When they see that you're proactive, you want to do more to the company, they would never want to let go of you, But I believe, problems are problems. You might still quit, want to move on, but at least try your best not to move on. Just try to make things happen there right now. So the bottom line is, please get a job before you resign. That is my sincere advice. All right. So I don't know how much more time we have right now. So let me see. Okay, I think we can take a couple more questions. I'll try to move as fast as possible. All right. So I think I have another interesting question here. I have 2 job offers in hand. This is what the question says, and one is from an MNC and the other one is from a startup. I'm utterly confused between which one to choose. Can you help me decide? Okay, so this is a very tricky question because there is no right answer here, to be honest with you, and it all depends on who you are as a personality. What is your personality? That also matters, because these are 2 different set of you can say two different ends of the spectrum right now. So what happens is with an MNC, things are more structured. You have like hundreds of people out there. You could have multiple hierarchy, the levels out there. The dynamics in an MNC or a large company are very different. There is more, I can say, very well structured. You have some kind of a cushion. That kind of job security is a little bit more there. And on the other hand, you have a startup where you got to have a different kind of mechanism altogether. You need to deal with chaos. Startups are like chaos. Like every day in a startup, things are going wrong somewhere. You got to be like hustle all the time. Hustle is the game in startups. So you have a small network of people, group of people. You're trying to jump in wherever the problem is, and it's cross-functional. That means you got to be multi-skilled. You got to do whatever it takes to succeed in the startup. And you carry a mountain on your shoulder, right? For example, in an MNC, you got like many people trying to do a particular job, but in a startup, there is one guy trying to do multiple stuff. Like it's completely opposite, and it also depends on what stage this startup is. So is it in growth phase? Is it in seed stage? Is it in just in inception? So it really depends on what kind of a risk appetite that you have as well. So in my opinion, startups push your career to the next level very fast. Your growth is super fast, but it comes with a risk because funding might get over. You might have many problems, what I have seen with startups. And at the same time, even MNCs have different kind of problems there. There's a lot of politics involved, things like that. Right? So there's no set rule here. You got to go and figure out what is the best thing for you. You want a fast-paced life, or you want something which is more stable and which is more structured. I would say that you could choose an MNC, but startups also stable, no doubt about it. It depends on what stage it is. So I would say that go out there, have a discussion with your hiring manager, with your peers, and then take a call. I hope that helps. I think we've got time for one final question, and then I've got like a toughie here, so let me see how do we really answer this. Here it goes. I think I'm working for a startup that is heading towards failure. Their focus and execution and everything seems to be not that right. The reward to risk ratio is too low. How do I go about it? Should I quit? It's a very, very interesting question, and it's a tough one too, because you got to be there walking through your shoes for me to really understand. But what I would believe is that startup comes with its own risks and rewards, and then that is something that you sign up for. That's what startups are. You put in there, you put in your sweat, you take home that kind of a reward. That's what startups are all about. At the same time, if you feel that things are not working, you need to know when to quit. That's very critical right now. So in the startup ecosystem, there is this whole thing about fail fast approach. And the sooner you fail, the better it is. So this is also a concept of MVP, minimal viable product. You build it and you go to the market and you see whether it's working or not. And if it's not working, then you know that you need to end it and then you need to move on. So it might sound harsh and it might sound brutal, but that is the honest truth, that you need to move on if things are not working out. So now you need to consider a couple of things. How much stake you have in the company, how much funding you have left. Are you guys bootstrapped, or have you raised seed investment? And if you say that execution is not happening correctly, so what is going wrong? Where is it going wrong? In my opinion, before you jump ship or you abandon the ship, you need to first figure out how I can save the ship, how I can save the day right now. If you can do it, I think you should give it a shot, because before you even say quits, I think you should go there and figure out how you can make a difference, because I'm a huge believer of being a person who gives 110% before I say quit, right? And at the same time, I'm extremely practical. You got to be practical. So my advice to you is right now, give it 110%, give a time frame of 3 months, In 3 months, you don't see things happening, I think that's the time when you say that, okay, you got to quit. In my opinion, think through this and then take the right action. So all the best, and I hope your startups really comes out of the blue and you guys are able to succeed. Thank you so much. I had a great time answering questions today, and I really look forward to having more questions from you. So please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Quora, on Facebook, and beat anything, your career problems or startup related or even personal. I would love to help as much as I can, and I would try to be as candid as I can. So see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and stay motivated.